Welcome to the 22nd Ship of the Week. This week we are taking a look at a ship that punched significantly above her weight in the world of nautical innovation, the turn-of-the-century coastal liner SS Governor Cobb. 1906 was just over a decade following the debut of the revolutionary little turbine ship Turbinia that we've examined previously in this series. And as turbine reliability increased, other shipping firms were looking to take advantage of their efficiency. It turns out, though, that no vessels in the United States were yet fitted with the new type of engines. Eastern steamship lines sought to change that, and ordered just such a ship for their northeastern passenger service between major ports in New England and Atlantic Canada. So new were turbine engines within the world of American shipbuilding that the U.S. Navy Bureau of Steam Engineering grew very interested in their performance capabilities, and acquired Eastern Lines' blessing to conduct numerous trials with Governor Cobb's machinery. Named for William Cobb, then the governor of the U.S. state of Maine, which the ship would frequently visit, the new liner was 300 feet long, displaced about 3,500 tons fully loaded, and her turbines, seen here in this photograph of her engine room, gave her a top speed of just under 18 knots. Boston was the hub of Eastern Line's service, and their building on the Boston waterfront is seen here. And to give an idea of how the ship might have appeared in service, here's a fleetmate, Governor Sibley, at their pier in Boston. A cluster of Coast Guard cutters are in the foreground. Governor Cobb's passenger service for Eastern Lines was suspended during the United States' involvement in the First World War, in which she appears to have served as a military transport. And following the end of hostilities, the ship was sold to Peninsular and Occidental Steamship Company for service between Florida and Cuba. She was, by the late 1930s, however, beginning to show her age, and when she could no longer successfully complete a safety inspection by the U.S. Bureau of Navigation, the ship was withdrawn from service. At least one potential purchase agreement fell through, and she sat idle for several years until, in early 1942, the United States government suddenly found itself in immediate and dire need of ships. The old coastal liner's remaining fittings and her superstructure above the main deck were stripped away, and the U.S. Coast Guard busied itself turning Governor Cobb into another first for American shipbuilding, a helicopter carrier, with her name shortened to simply Cobb. Helicopters were not particularly well refined at this point in history, and their effectiveness was not at all proven. They were dangerous and notoriously difficult to operate, but with Japanese submarines presenting a significant incentive, the military hoped to develop a system for launching them from the deck of a ship. Pictured here is a Sikorsky R-4 aircraft of the type the Coast Guard looked to use for the purpose. On June 19, 1944, the first helicopter successfully landed on Cobb's flight deck. The Coast Guard continued to operate the ship in home waters as a platform to refine their helicopter operations techniques for the remainder of the war. Cobb was stricken from the record in 1946 and broken up after 40 years of service. Cutting edge at her launch, she ended her career as a pioneer of naval aviation, and the distant ancestor of many modern helicopter carriers and amphibious assault ships.